One. Welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. This segment brought to you by Great Southern Bank. Great Southern Bank with more than 100 locations in 6 states. Great Southern Bank, member FDIC. Doak Pro Paint, located right here in Bolivar, Missouri. Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks, Laborers Local 663, and the Bank of Billings, established 1889, the oldest bank in Christian County. Certainly glad you've tuned in. We go a little bit north of where I am to Urbana, Missouri, and talk to Skyline boys head basketball coach Tommy Egan. And Coach Egan, thanks for your time today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate the coverage.
You bet, Coach. You're 105 and 37 over the last 5 years there at Skyline. You've back-to-back district titles, a Final Four appearance in there as well. So lots of success coming out of Skyline. What, as you look back to last year, coming into this year, what are you going to have to replace, due to graduation? And who are some of those guys who got to step up and fill some shoes?
Yeah, we lose 2 seniors. We lose Braden Porter. He was an all-stater for us. He came over to our place his junior year, started for us as a junior and senior. He's kind of the one guy that's going to be tough to replace just because of his length. We're pretty small, and he was an athletic 6'5" kid. And what he could do for us with his, protecting the rim and rebounding and, being able to get his own shot off, it's going to be really tough to replace. He had a really great senior year and, team first guy. Just everything about him is going to be hard to replace. And then we also lost Trey Swearingen, who was our 6th man. And he was our best on-ball defender. He was the guy that was going to set the screens, was going to take charges, was going to dive on loose balls, do all those little things that you need somebody to do on your team. So, those 2 guys, they gave us a bunch, and it's going to be tough to replace them.
What guys have you got? What have you got coming back, and who's going to have to kind of try and attempt to fill those shoes of the kids you lost?
Yeah, we're fortunate. We've got 4 guys back that have, quite a bit of varsity playing time under their belt going back to their freshman year. So we're pretty excited about that. Lawson Beam returns. He's a 3-time all-conference, all-district player. He was an all-state kid last year. He started every game of his career except for senior night a couple years ago. Jayton DeFries is a 3-time all-conference, all-district player returning. He's our one true big man. He's only about 6'1", but he's very strong for his size, and he's got good footwork down low, and he's really developed an outside shot. So he's become really versatile over the past couple seasons. And then we have Zach Williams and Court Cheek. They both started for us last year. They both got some varsity playing time going back to their freshman year. And Zach sees the floor probably as good as any kid I've ever coached. Great passer, great point guard for us. He's a very capable scorer. He's really sprouted up over the past couple of years. He's about 6'2" now. He's a pretty skinny kid, but he's got a lot of length to him, but just real versatile. And then Court, typical coach's kid, extremely smart, extremely tough. He'll guard the other team's best player most nights and just kind of does a little bit of everything for us. So in those 4 guys, we got quite a bit of varsity experience that we're excited about.
As you look at your conference, the Mid-Lakes Conference, kind of handicap that a little bit with what who's got coming back, and obviously you guys have had tremendous success there in the Mid-Lakes.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough this year. You got Stratford. They lost their point guard, but they got, the rest of their kids back, and they're going to be really good. They're going to be, very well coached, and they're going to have size. They're going to have multiple guys that can, play inside and outside, and they're going to get out and defend you. And of course, they know how to win over there. I expect they're going to be a really, really good team this year. They're going to be a team to look out for. Fairgrove, they've got a lot of their kids back. A lot of kids have contributed to them statistically. And they're always going to be athletic year in and year out. And then you have Clever and Forsyth. So there's only 5 teams in it this year. We lost Stockton. Stockton stepped away from the conference. But Forsyth, they'll be young, but they've got a really, really good young group. And, they got a new coach and Coach Smith who's going to do a great job with them. And, of course, Coach Brochus at Clever does such a great job. And it's just from top to bottom. I mean, there's no cupcakes in our conference. It's every night it's going to be a grind, but it's good for us because all those games are in February and it prepares us for the playoffs.
You bet. You open up with the Warsaw tournament, then you've got the Blue and Gold, which is a tough tournament as well. And then you've got your tournament. Any other schedule changes? I mean, have you added or any? I know that with the conference changing with the Mid Lakes and where some of the teams went, I'm a little confused as to where everybody is. But has your schedule been affected by it?
Oh, it has. We had to pick up 5 games this year. 5. I've never had a year like, sometimes you have to pick up 1 or 2. We had to find 5 new opponents this year. And we picked up, this is great coaching by me. We're going to go to Nixa. We're going to play Jeff City on a neutral floor. We picked up Monette, who is, that's a Big 8 school. That's going to be a bigger school. It's going to be physical. We got to go to their place. So, our schedule is as good as it's been. And it's going to be real crucial that we get through it without losing our minds and staying the course and becoming a better team for it, because it could make or break us. And we're hoping it really prepares us for February and March.
As you look, and obviously the districts have not come out yet. Have you got a feel of where you might end up district wise, class wise?
I don't. We've gone Northwest the last 3 years. My first year here, we went towards Springfield. There are some schools that are going to be right on the border, whether they're class 3 or class 4, that could really affect the whole thing. So really, I have no idea. I do know, I've talking to Coach Cheek. I know in years past, there's been years we've gone towards the Lake of the Ozarks. So we're kind of in that spot where we could go Northwest, we could go towards the lake, or we could come down to Springfield. And, I really have no idea which way it's going to shake out.
All right. Once again, we're visiting with Skyline boys basketball head coach Tom Egan. And Coach, just a little bit of background on yourself. How'd you arrive? How long have you been at Skyline? And kind of where'd you go to high school, college, and some of the other venues before arriving there in Urbana?
Yeah, this is starting my 5th year at Skyline. We really love it here. My girls go to school here. It's a great school, and we're thrilled to death to end up here. I went to high school at West Plains, Missouri. I played for Steve Hunter, of course, who's a coaching legend around these parts, now in North Ark. But I played for West Plains and went on to Hartville, and then he went on to Ozark. And then from there, I actually went to Culver Stockton College to be an accounting major, and I was a member of the team up there for a year, and decided to transfer and ended up getting into teaching and coaching. And I was fortunate enough, I got hooked up with Mark Fisher when I was in college and was able to be his assistant for a couple of years. So I actually worked with Dustin Larson. Speaking of the Mid Lakes, the girls coach over there at Stratford, we coached together. So that was an awesome experience. And that started on my way. And of course, having Coach Fisher as a reference, as somebody that will go to bat for you, has been really nice when it comes to looking for jobs. So I was able to, get a head coaching job right out of college. I was the boys and girls coach at Dadeville for a couple of years. And then I went to Mountain Grove. I was at Mountain Grove for 3 years. And then I went to Purdy, and Purdy was really the first stop where I was at for a long time. We were there for 7 years, doing high school boys basketball, and then moved up here to Skyline, and hoping this is the last stop.
Well, you mentioned that, Coach Fisher's tree. There's another guy in your building, Brandon Shelby.
That's right.
Was part of that. And
Yep.
It's Grant Young, I think, was a part of that.
Yep.
And, John Schaefer, I think, was there as well. So he's had a lot of guys that he's helped out.
Yeah, he has. His tree goes pretty, a lot of branches to his tree. He's awesome to work for. Great guy. I think the world of him.
All right. So when you guys, when you get started, I know football will affect a little bit of that, because you guys have had, some great success there in the past, and maybe looking at making a deep run. But when is the first official day, and what are the plans?
Yeah, it's that first Monday, and I believe November 1st is a Monday this year. I didn't even check, to be honest with you. I believe it's the 1st of November, and we'll be missing a bunch. We've got a lot of our guys that play football. The four guys with the varsity experience that I mentioned earlier, they're all football kids. We'll see how far they go, but we're expecting not to have them for a while. But the good thing is we're used to that. That's how it's been every year since I've been here, and that means those guys are out there competing and winning games. So that's not necessarily a negative. And we'll roll with the guys that we got and hold the fort down till the rest of those guys join us, whenever that may be.
You bet. Well, Coach Egan, I certainly appreciate you being part of the show and generous with your time here at the Missouri Sports Network. And best of luck as you get started. And if there's anything we can do, just let us know.
Yeah, appreciate the coverage. Love what you do, guy.
Hey, thank you. You're listening to the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage.